So tell me, for you, what do you think made this team say, this is our guy, this is who we feel like would be the best choice to lead this offense right now? What is it about yourself and your experience to this point that made the Buccaneers be so excited about you?
I think it started with the fact that we could keep a very similar system and call things a very similar way that we did last year. Honing in on the fundamentals and techniques of getting each player better, which ultimately makes the unit better. And then I think from a personal level, just them knowing that I did put in the work to be able to help, just like a lot of the staff did, and knowing that I have their best interests at heart, having that continuity, I know it makes them feel better and it makes all of us feel better too. So
it wasn't the high school valedictorian or going to Yale. That wasn't the leading thing that was mentioned, or
it was not. No, that was not mentioned as nearly as much as some other stuff.
I mean, if it were me, I would be leading with that in any job interview personally.
Just start with that.
Yeah, just start with that. By the way, in case you didn't know,
just when everybody's on the same page.
Yeah. Your coworkers, whether it's players, other coaches, everyone in the building, friends, family, how would they describe you if I just went up to any of them and said, "Hey, who is Coach Grizzard? Who is Josh?" And how similar are their answers or different?
I'd imagine they're pretty similar. They all know that I love football and I like to work hard at it, that's what I love to do. And so it really doesn't feel like a job, and they're just excited for this opportunity because they know I've worked for it.
What made you fall in love with football? That you said that it's what you love to do. You're the guy that you're willing to grind 20 hours on tape if, and that isn't a burden to you, that you do love this sport, love this game. Do you remember when and why you fell in love with it?
I just remember, even not only in football, but basketball, baseball. I would say from the time that I got hurt playing in high school, you can then see it from a coach's perspective on being on the sidelines, and knew that was something where I felt like I could help the team still, and it didn't have to be on the field.
But at the end of the day, good job being able to operate in the game. Okay, 4-point plays, 2-point plays, the ball going to different guys.
Keep working. Best offense in the league. That's the goal. Offense on 3. 1, 2, 3. Offense.
Every coach has their own style. What would you describe as your coaching style? And do you feel like it's going to be similar or different to previous positions you've had compared to being a coordinator?
I would say it won't be overly different. There's definitely an accountability that starts and ends with me because it is my unit, even though we have the position coaches and they're in charge. We look at it like they're the head coach of their room. But I would say being 34, and even though I'm older than, say, a rookie or even like a J-Mac or somebody who's been here for a couple of years, I still have enough knowledge of like the pop culture and sports and things that go on so we can relate, keep it light and have fun, but them know that there is, when things are wrong and they need to get corrected or we're not working hard enough, that there is still a coaching element to it, that this thing has to be disciplined and we got to put a good brand of football on the field.
And so what is that brand of football for you? What are the hallmarks of a Josh Grizzard-led offense?
I would say that when people watch our film, our hope and what we're trying to design right now through the strength conditioning is that we're going to be a disciplined team. We're going to play longer and harder than the next opponent. And I know that's how we look at it when we're preparing for a defense, is how hard is this team willing to play? Can they play as hard in the fourth quarter as they can in the first quarter?
Getting ready to call plays is such an important part of this job, obviously, and I know you've been working on that long before even getting this opportunity. So what were the things you were working on prior to this job to be ready for it? And then now since getting it and what you're looking to do even through training camp in the preseason to try to make sure you're as ready as possible for that part?
I would say over the last few years, just start to think more in terms of calling plays and designing the plays and making sure that those are okay. You can design a play, but are you okay? Are you willing to call this? Are you really think this has a chance, or is this just something like, hey, I don't feel great about it? Situationally, what would I do here? What would I do here? And so those are all over the last couple of years. And I would say since getting the job and focusing on it more, times of the practice where you're having call it periods, meaning it's 1st and 10, ball's on the right hash, make a call. And then, okay, now it's 2nd and 7 on the left hash, what are you doing? Coach Moore's given me some really good advice from his first time calling it. So just trying to lean on other people to get some advice on how to be best prepared for it.
And then the run game, man, what an improvement last year.
Left, the stiff arm, breaks the tackle, digs it way across the 15. He's still running with the footbridge, and the rookie runs to daylight.
Rashad White shakes
We've got Rachaad White to the 40. Rachaad White to the 40, to the 50. Outside the numbers to the 40. Rachaad White to the 30.
How do you make sure that that stays consistent, stays a strength of the team when we know this league is not something where you can do the exact same thing 2 years in a row and see the same success? So what do you try to keep the same? What do you try to continue to work on and improve to know that it's something that could continue to improve and get better and stay at least as good as it was last year?
You can't just run the same stuff every year and expect teams to not get a beat on it. So we study around the league tapes. We study a bunch of college film from guys. And so there's always things that we've added over the last few weeks and we'll continue to add even in the season. We never want to get stagnant and just feel like, okay, they know exactly what we're about to call right here.
And I imagine for a new offensive coordinator, getting an offensive player as a first-round draft pick is a pretty exciting thing. So tell us what went through your mind and what are the things that got you excited as you imagined being able to add him to already such a huge cache of weapons.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver, Ohio State.
When it got close, it was definitely nerve-wracking, not knowing exactly if we were going to take him and if he was going to be there, just because we had a chance to meet with him at the Combine, and everybody raves about his football character off the field as well. I have a couple good buddies on the Ohio State staff. They raved about him. And then we knew that he would be a culture fit because of all those intangibles. So being able to be added to a room with a future Hall of Famer in Mike and what Chris has been able to do and his longevity and J-Mac coming along last year, we just knew that it was going to be something that was going to be good now and in the future.
When you look at Baker as your quarterback, as a first-year offensive coordinator, how much easier does he make your life and in what ways?
It makes it nice because we already speak the same language on the verbiage of the play calls, what we're trying to get out of a play, the reads on a play, his footwork on a play, and then he's able to then help us as well on getting the receivers right, the O-line right, the changes in protection, things like that. So it just is so much further ahead than it was because of keeping a lot of it very similar.
Obviously, the transition from Liam to Grizz has been really, really smooth. It's nice to be able for guys to not have to learn it from scratch. There's obviously a few tweaks and things, motions and different things that Grizz wants to get done, which is great.
50th season for the Buccaneers this year. So we're talking to everybody about the idea of legacy and your part that you want to play as we look towards maybe 50 years from now when they look back on the next 50 years of the Buccaneers. What do you want your legacy to be as a coach here? Like
we talked about, they know that we're disciplined, we play hard, we're putting pressure on the defense, and ultimately we're tasked with scoring points. So ultimately that'll get us to the playoffs, and then once you get in the playoffs, it's always just a one-game season. And so just trying to hone in from right now on the drills we're doing, that we feel confident in that going into the season, and letting the fans know we put the work in to make them proud and hopefully be one that you can remember 50 years from now.